Liquid nitrogen is extremely cold, but what's crazy is you can dip your hand into it for a very short period of time with no ill effects. This is because a layer of gas forms around your hand that thermally insulates it from the cold liquid. If you look closely, you can see this vapor layer in this slow motion video. But this effect only works for a very short time, and that leads to a natural question. Just how long can you keep your hand in liquid nitrogen before it causes some harm? I decided to do a few simple experiments to try to get an answer to this question. I first did some tests to measure the change in temperature on the outside of my hand after dipping it in some liquid nitrogen. In this test, my hand started at 32.7 degrees Celsius. Check out the temperature drop when I removed my ring and dipped my hand in. That's crazy! The temperature on the outside of my hand dropped 6 degrees Celsius. With that kind of temperature drop, I thought it might be a good idea to do experiments on hot dogs instead. So I fashioned a makeshift hand using hot dogs for fingers. And then I heated this hot dog hand a bit to mimic body temperature. I got the hand to an initial temperature of about 34 degrees Celsius, and then I immersed it in some liquid nitrogen. I kept it in there for 10 seconds. And check it out! After 10 short seconds, the outside of the hot dogs had dropped to below freezing temperature. I wanted to get more details about what was going on, so I did another set of experiments. In this case, I put the hot dog hand through a series of 1-second immersions in the liquid nitrogen. I tried to quickly take the temperature after each 1-second dip in the chilly liquid. As you can see here, after just 2 of these 1-second immersions, the temperature of the hot dog hand had dropped over 6 degrees, down to 22 degrees Celsius. After just 4 immersions, the surface temperature of the hand had dropped to 15 degrees Celsius. In fact, experimental evidence suggests that people begin to feel pain from the cold when the skin reaches this temperature or below. Skipping ahead a few dips, by the 14th immersion, the temperature on the outside of the hot dogs was below freezing. And after the 19th dip, the hot dogs had frozen solid. When I graphed the temperature versus number of dips, I observed a classic cooling curve. And notice, it levels off at 0 degrees Celsius, the freezing temperature of water. And the freezing transition began after only 9 dips. So look, it goes without saying you shouldn't stick your hand in liquid nitrogen to see how long it takes for you to hurt yourself. But based on the simple experiments I've done here, I'm guessing if you left your hand in liquid nitrogen for roughly 5 seconds, you could do some real damage. What kind of conclusions do you draw from these experiments? I look forward to reading your comments.